ever since Donald Trump won the 2024 election, there have been some pretty disturbing developments going on over at Fox News. Now, I knew that they were going to snap in line once it was clear that Donald Trump won the Republican primary, but now that he has won the 2024 election, and now that it is clear that he will serve a second term, the people over at Fox News are twisting themselves into knots to suckle at the teat of Donald Trump. But first, if you want to support independent progressive media and help me make it to 1,000 subscribers, please remember to smash that subscribe button. I'm trying to make it to 1,000 before the end of the year, and I would very much appreciate your support. Now, I think one of the main reasons that the MAGA movement has been so successful is because Donald Trump and his acolytes have been able to build a completely new world that these folks live within. They spread conspiracy after conspiracy after conspiracy, and they repeat it so many times that the people in this MAGA bubble start to believe that it's true. And Fox News has been one of the major players in this conspiracy building world. And now that it is clear that Donald Trump will serve a second term, the amount of sycophancy that is going on over at Fox News is shocking. These people would make North Koreans blush. That is how bad it has become. So let's go ahead and take a look at a little bit of what I'm talking about here, and then we will discuss.
If you can't guarantee the safety of our people and your people, then we're going to put a tariff on you. Yeah. And I don't care if it tanks your economy. Do the right thing, or this is what I'm going to do.
I love just the show of strength already that we're seeing across the globe. You have Donald Trump saying, tariff on you, Mexico. The Mexico president immediately does something about it, puts something on social media, not going to let him get to the border. Then Justin Trudeau flies down to Mar-a-Lago unexpectedly. They have dinner, they're laughing, and then Donald Trump says, well, you want to fix it? Fix your border, or I'm slapping tariffs. What? That's going to ruin our economy. That's going to kill Canada. Well, then become the 51st state. I'll make you the governor.
Gross. I'm just so glad that we're finally seeing strength on the world stage, and Donald Trump is throwing this tariff and that tariff, and he's the big, strong leader that we always have needed. These people are pathetic. Now, I know that Fox News is not a real news agency, but if they were, they would be asking different types of questions, like, what are going to be the impacts of these 25% tariffs? Why does Donald Trump need to feel like such a bully and bully our allies? What would it mean if prices went up 25% for the rest of the American people? But we will never hear Fox News asking those types of questions or making those types of criticisms because Donald Trump is the God King. And he has to remain that sort of figure for their movement to be successful. So Fox News will do whatever it needs to do to suckle at Donald Trump's teat, to make him be the God King that he is. And I find it quite disturbing that Fox News has pretty much turned into state TV for Donald Trump. And I don't know if you heard it there, but they're trying to say that Donald Trump is getting all of these wins. Look at what he did to Mexico. He threatened these 25% tariffs, and now they're shutting down the border. But this is just another part of their game. They tout all of these wins without mentioning the actual truth of it all. Here is what the president of Mexico actually said.
Sheinbaum actually just responded moments ago, and the short version is never, no, not once, did she say anything of the kind. Sheinbaum on X was writing, "We reiterate that Mexico's position is not to close borders, but to build bridges between governments and between peoples."
So yeah, the president of Mexico never agreed that she was going to shut down the border. But you're not going to hear that on Fox News. Fox News will tout all of these things as wins, so it is built in to the MAGA universe. And they will continue to perpetuate this lie until it is the MAGA reality. So 6 months from now, we'll be hearing about how Donald Trump was so tough on the border and threatening tariffs that we got Mexico to shut down their border. This is the exact same game that he played the first time around. And it was no true then as it is now. Donald Trump isn't getting a whole bunch of concessions out of Mexico, but because Donald Trump is the God King in the MAGA universe, Fox News needs you to believe it. Here Brian Kilmeade is trying to play up Donald Trump as this master negotiator.
Also, Donald Trump's doing what Kayla, you know he did every day. He starts the day with leverage. He wakes up and goes, oh, you want my nominees? If you don't nominate them, we're going to do it in a recess appointment. Game on. All of a sudden, people are scrambling. Then he says, okay, when it comes to controlling the border, I'm not going to wait and ask. I'm going to tell you right away, 25% tariffs. I don't like the way you're handling it. Oh, you have a problem? Next thing you know, he's negotiating already. It makes people act. He's like, I don't have a lot of time. We're going to get this done. Bottom line is, the northern border has been a mess. If you talk to Governor Sununu, he talks about the people pouring across the border, drugs coming across the border. Guess what's happening now? They're using drone technology. They're using high-tech equipment and planes to start monitoring the northern border because they don't want any part of those 25% tariffs.
So again, Donald Trump is the God King who is already getting concessions out of Canada, trying to say that Canada is deploying all of these resources and new technology just because Donald Trump threatened his tariffs. And while it is true that a Canadian leader did come out and say that they might be adding more resources to their border, Fox News wants you to believe that nothing was being done before, and Donald Trump is the one that made this all happen. That is the narrative that they want you to believe. So they will continue and continue and continue to push these lies. They will never provide any criticism or critique to Donald Trump. And the MAGA universe will soon believe that, of course, Donald Trump is a master negotiator. Of course he is, man. He was a businessman, and he knows how to negotiate. I mean, just look at what he did with Canada, man. This is all part of the game. Fox News, Donald Trump, and his acolytes, they are particularly good at this. But we know, even from Donald Trump's first term, Donald Trump is not a good negotiator. He has never proved himself to be a good negotiator. And I wanted to read just a paragraph from this article here from Vanity Fair that says Donald Trump has always been a terrible negotiator. And this was written, I believe, during his first term, back in 2018. And it points out some really good points. Here it is. Unfortunately, though, it was the apprentice years of pretending to know his way around a boardroom that convinced millions of Americans that, this guy should be president. Which brings us to the other issue the deal-maker-in-chief is currently dealing with. That striking deals with world leaders and politicians is a lot harder and more complex than any of his failed business negotiations in the past. Hence, the bungled repeal and replace healthcare negotiations, breaking of the Iran nuclear pact without a better deal in place, the pulling out of the Trans-Pacific Partnership without a better deal in place, and retaliation by our biggest allies for his misguided steel and aluminum tariffs, and his on-again, off-again, on-again summit with Kim Jong-un. So if we actually reattach to reality and just look at his track record from his first term, we can understand that Donald Trump is no master negotiator. He tried these very same tactics in his first term and was not successful with it. But you and I know that Fox News will never look back at these disappointing losses for Trump. They need you to believe that he is the God King. They need you to believe that he is an astute businessman, a master negotiator, and more importantly, that he is doing this at the pleasure of Americans. He's looking out for Americans, guys. He's looking out for the middle class, the regular people. But that's not true. Donald Trump's first administration was the most corrupt administration in our country's history, and his second administration is shaping up to be far, far worse. Donald Trump only looks out for Donald Trump. He doesn't care about you, doesn't care about me, doesn't care about your grandma or your dad. Donald Trump cares about Donald Trump. But Fox News and Trump himself have made MAGA believe that's just not true. Donald Trump is looking out for Americans. He does have our best interest at heart, and he is doing whatever he can to help out the little guy. Here's Harris Faulkner trying to say that the world is just so thankful that Donald Trump got elected again.
You're talking about allies in terms of Mexico and Canada. Can you imagine what our enemies are thinking right now? I mean, the trade is getting dangled. I mean, everything is going, all the things are happening. And the one thing that they have, a word that you will often hear when you interview people on other continents is they believe Trump. It's a kind of a trust based on fact of action that Biden is completely without. Part of the damage that we've seen in our relationships with countries around the world is because, well, we all know he lies. They don't trust him either. I mean, he just pardoned his son after saying over and over and over and getting other people to lie too. Oh, Russia's the hoax, blah, 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 all of it. All of it, all of it, all of it. I'm going to let my kid go free. You don't think that our enemies don't see that? Because I know they see it.
Those are some crazy eyes right there. Do these people have no self-respect? What are they talking about? We think other countries care that Biden pardoned his son? Do you really think that it was Biden that was weakening our relationships around the world? Or should we look back at Trump's first term and the way that he weakened our alliances all across the globe? And it is Donald Trump who is talking about pulling out of NATO, one of the greatest military alliances this world has ever seen. It's not Joe Biden threatening to withdraw. That's Trump. Trump is a destabilizing force in this world. He has abandoned our allies in the past, and he is on track to do it again in his second administration. So to try to put this all on Biden, it's all just part of the plan. Donald Trump can do no wrong. Donald Trump can never be criticized. Donald Trump is the God King that MAGA worships at the behest of. They put him on such a high pedestal and continue to perpetuate these lies and perpetuate the conspiracies, and MAGA just eats it all up. That's why this is a very dangerous movement. If you are unwilling to criticize power, if you are unwilling to step out of line for fear of retaliation, that is a huge problem. And Fox News has been one of the biggest contributors to this MAGA movement. They just eat it all up. And they continue to glaze Donald Trump, like we just saw here, without providing any pushback, because all they are interested in is power. Sheer, raw power. So, I thought this was all pretty interesting. I think this is something, obviously, we're going to keep an eye on. We have to be pushing back against this worldview because it is not attached to reality. That's why it's becoming so hard to interact with people that are in the MAGA sphere, in the MAGA world, because they can't even agree on the same set of facts that actually exist in this world. And Fox News should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for polarizing our nation in the way that they have. But I'll leave it there for now. If you guys got anything out of this video, please remember to smash that like button and subscribe. Maybe share it with a friend or two. I'd very much appreciate that. Like I said, I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I'm only less than 200 away, so I would very much appreciate your support. If you want to see how it is that it is Donald Trump's fault for Hunter Biden receiving a pardon from his dad, go ahead and watch that video on the screen now. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next one.